Hey there, everybody. The Master Duel situation. I'm not gonna do this. No. There's really not much for me to be doing in Master Duel right now, to be honest. There are some decks I do want to test out and such, but I really want to just like kind of go over stuff. I'm still working on the Vendread one, and I've been working on stuff. Oh. Actually, you know, I hear something in the distance, but I don't know if it's gonna be a problem. One of those cases of living in the city where it's like, is this a distance thing that's gonna become my problem, or is this a not gonna become my problem thing? Whatever. So, yeah, I guess this is more gonna be on the ranty side of things with Master Duel, mostly just a card archetype I like in general. But recently, I do know it's been a problem. It's been the attention. I've seen people talking about it. But for Master Duel, like, there's a couple of things first. Was I short an X? No, I was short a space and apostrophe. Look. This card needs to be banned. There is just no reason, especially with the Mulcharmies, why we should have this card. Right? Now, that aside, there is another important thing. It's these cards. If you see this, you're good. It's just okay. I want to talk about the situation with Master Duel because right now, as I go to check and make sure I'm recording from the proper mic, I am. Okay, yay. I saw, I think a pro tweeted up just like, it's not a fun time to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With Snake Eyes, I think at full power, White Forest, and just the abundance of boards that you, like, without Ra, Lava Golem, and without Kaijus, you just don't win. And even with Kaijus and stuff, you could still just lose. You know? And the part that kills me is that, like, even monsters that should be able to do fine don't. If you're not playing some form of stun, Snake Eyes, White Forest, like, just negate city, you're just not gonna have a fun time. And then it comes to the fact that, well, the only thing that can really stop them is Kashtira, because Unicorn is the only thing that's keeping whatever fragile balance together, because, oh, well, you eliminate some of the key pieces because they only really tend to have space for one of those. And it's like, yeah, but what happens when one of the, I think it was like, what, 16? Hang on, where is it? What happened when your opponent just has, like, all this? And again, this is just what I own. Most people would have, like, because they gotta keep things like Unicorn away from their stuff. You know. Actually, let's also show, you know. Because with this many ways to just stop an opponent's monster from doing their stuff, it's just, you get the full benefit of the Mulcharmies, negates with the Blossoms, and then it's just like, mind you, it's entirely possible for you to have both Ash and Valor in hand, and then it's just, or even worse, just straight up Imperm. Imperm is the easiest answer to Unicorn, because 3 Imperms in the deck, you have a pretty good chance of opening up with it in your hand, and there's only 2 Unicorns, so unless you can get around it with, like, some way to, like, quick sack it or something, it feels like if you want to play in this format, you have to either go full meta counter, or stun. And that's sad. Because I remember back in the early days of Master Duel, where I was playing with Ancient Warriors, and my Ancient Warriors were actually able to do stuff against some of the meta contenders at the time. We were able to fight against Eldritch and Tri-Brigade, and occasionally the odd Sky Strikers. You know. Then as things like, as Power Corrupt started coming into the game, and the Dark Magician deck became available, and you know what? I very low-key miss the days of old Sword Soul, old Dark Magician, where that's all you would see, but at least people could still have fun and play the game through it. Yeah, Sword Soul was hard to break through with Shang-Ying and Dark Magician players looping their Dark Magicians in their spellbinding circles. Never stopped being old, especially when they figured out that Dragon Knight literally acted as Dark Magician and protected their back row. But it was still fun. There were still things you could do around it. Tributing a Magician, Recall by the Graving it immediately after, or just banishing it with Bestials. But it's sad to me that it's like this, and what's worse is you can't play casually, because in casuals, they're still doing this stuff. I would want to go to casuals to test out how well the Flame Swordsman deck did, or to learn how to play my Mementos, because I've seen some fun things that could happen with that. I don't even think my Sweat Tier deck is all that sweaty anymore, too. Like, this that I made feels way more sweaty. Mind you, as people pointed out, Beansmith's track can search out Majesties, so all you need is something is a Fabled in the hand to discard, and bam, you have Majesties, and all of a sudden the opponent doesn't get to play the game unless they have one of the many things like Imperm, Call by, etc., etc. But again, with a cross-out Dez, and it sucks. It sucks because there are some moments you can only really get by playing this game that are, super fun or laugh-worthy. Or again, like, I want to play Ashen because of the story it tells. Oh, but the boss monster... Yeah, the boss monster cannot be destroyed by card effects, and your opponent gets targeted with monster effects. Raigeki still deals with it. Imperm into monster effect. Bam, he's gone. Health, hit him with the Super Poly. He's dark, he counts for Venom Dragon, or even, the Predaplant. Hell, even this Predaplant. Or again, I have that out in the field, I have another dark, guess what? That's Garuga. Like, there's ways to counter this boss monster. He's not infallible. He can't. It's not like I get him to feel and all of a sudden, oh, the game's over. But when you see Baron on top of the Azamina, on top of Fiendsmith, on top, like, it's just, bro. And again, I made this to be slightly silly. There's not that many. There's like what? I have 2 Imperms, 2 Called Bys. That's it. That's all I have in terms of like, in terms of like, stuff to stop my opponent from doing stuff. If you really want to stretch it, you could argue the Super Polys too. But I don't have all the Super Poly targeting. I mostly have it to like quickly snatch up back my Eruption Dragon just to either clear the board. Oh no, I lost friggin' this boy here. Big whoop. It's a small sacrifice to pay for, like, breaking the board and then resetting the game. And again, when the games still go on after that, it's still fun. I still get to do things, I still get to play the game. I still like my version of the Magician deck. Hey, yeah, it can be bricky, but think about Fusion Armament into, like, Ultimate Dragon, and then he just stays on the field because, they don't know how to deal with it. They just can't. He's a big old beat stick monster. He ain't got no effect, so you can't hit him with the Imperm. And with that being the case, it's just like, well, now I have to wait for him to bring out a monster that I can Imperm, otherwise, like, this goes off without a hassle, or this, or that. And again, there are so many fun and creative ways to go and do stuff in the game that it's just like, are we really just gonna sit down and keep doing this? Like, say what you want, but I would still give the person who's playing like Obelisk with all like the extra support of the meta stuff now, because you know what? At least they're playing Obelisk. At least Obelisk is like the whole goal of their like deck, and the rest is just like side fluff. And Obelisk is a cool monster to just bring out. You know, you got the animation win. It's Obelisk literally from the old days, and it's so much more fun and looks like more fun than I play Baron and all this other stuff, and I'm gonna punch you in the mouth for a lot of damage. And again, aside from what, 2 Veilers, 2 Ashes, the double called by, and the Imperms, that's all I really got. Because it's more fun to try to play with, you know, getting out Magia with Dragoon, or getting out, as I call it, the dual monsters era combo, with Dragoon representing Yugi and Joey, and Magia representing Yugi and Kaiba. Kaiba, I would say, also being represented by just, if I had it possible, Ultimate Dragon. Joey being represented by Flare Metal, and of course Yugi with Dark Magician of the Dragon Knight, or even just BLS. Also, let's be real, I could see Kaiba using Chaos Angel. Or Typhon. I could see Joey using Baron. Or even Little Knight. Little Knight feels like a Joey card sometimes, too. Yeah, you're underestimating her because she's a Little Knight. But guess what? Her effect is pretty nasty. You know? Stuff like that. And again, there's so many cool archetypes. Veta with the freaking... Like, look at this man! And you'll never see him! Why? Because he's attached to this man, who's equally cool! But you'll never see him either unless he's being used as an engine to turbo out Negate City. And again, it's not like I don't have my own decks that are cringe. Or that could be considered cringe. I have Albaz Bestials with Despia as well, because I like Albaz, and I think there's something fun that can be done with this stuff. But I can't play it. 2 Call-Bys is not enough. I would need the Ash Blossoms. I would need... But then adding those to the deck makes it brick more. So you can't do much with that. And it's just that ever-present cycle of, do I want to play the game or do I want to brick? Do I want to sit... If I go first, do I have a chance, or is my opponent just going to run me over with all the hand traps and stuff? Or are they even going to sit down to play the rest? Because sometimes the people who play the meta stuff have such a weak spirit. Like, you break their stuff, and then the moment you do, they have no idea if there's a back and forth. You don't even have to have lethal, and they'll just be like, yeah, I'm good. You could Nibiru their stuff, and then that's the only real trick you had up your sleeve, and the rest is bricks, and they'll still be like, nah, I'm good. You took out all my fun, and now I'm gonna go screw. Like, play through top deck. I've watching the content creators who make like Yu-Gi-Oh stuff and seeing them play I'm jealous because I want to do that too. And again, I'm not even all that big a fan of the Go era, despite the fact that's when I played heavily in like paper format. Technically, you know, I played in the Edison era, I believe it's called, and I had fun in that era because it was fun. My deck, the one that I showed off a long time ago, with my Chaos deck of sorts, it's kind of Twilight-ish almost, was so much fun because it had Gores, it had like so many cool cards that I thought were cool and I wanted to use. Is, as I stated before with my Vendreds, I don't care if I win the deck again, or actually no, even simpler. My Ashen deck. Yeah, if I win with Dragoon, a dub's a dub, we take the dub. But I don't want to just win with Dragoon. I want to win with Vidos. I want to win with the King on the field. I want to win with frigging the Hero on the field. I want to win with Embers of the Ashen on the field. I want to tell the story that the card art has. You know, if I just played... Like, if I really just wanted Dragoon, there are better engines for it. I could include more Red Eyes fusions. I could include more Dark Magicians and Red Eyes. I could just run a full deck that just revolved around getting out Dragoon, but the point is that he's a cool side piece and protection for Vidos. Vidos is the star here, not Dragoon. Dragoon's a support. It's the same thing with the Vendred deck. You think Baron's here because Baron's the big shot? No, she's support. Chaos Angel is support. Fiendsmith is support. I want the star being Slayer. That's who I want on my end board. That's who I want on the field. Or Battle Lord. Executor. Even Scar. Even Scavenger. Friggin' Scavenger with the armed and dangerous arm. And that Thor's other arm. That's who I want on my end board. That's who I want being my boss monster who deals the final hit. And not Baron, not Fiendsmith. They're just there to help. I want them to be the support. I want them to play the role of support. And they can't do that. Even in this deck, which I feel like could do something. I have the Ash Blossom. I have the Molcharmies. I have the Call by, the Cross Out, the Call by, the Imperms. I should actually sub out a card to put in another freaking actually friggin' Cross Out, Forbidden, just so I can stop the Forbidden from being a problem. But I feel like the moment I break this very, very fragile structure of the deck, that's when everything's gonna fall apart. That's what's gonna be like, well then, that sucks. Because there's only so many times I can trim a deck down to make room for more hand traps and more things to try to stop my opponent from just blasting my field or my board, or just not even caring about it sometimes. Just playing through it and then watching as I hit the wrong card or don't pay attention. Because the funniest part too is some people play these meta decks and then don't know what they're doing. It's wild! How do you play the deck and then not know how to pilot it? Again, maybe I'm not one to speak on that because, but you play the deck, you build the whole deck, and then you don't try it out. You don't figure out where, like, I've watched videos to see, what's my combo extender, what can I do, and then I've also figured things out on my own. But you're telling me that you're running this whole deck and you don't know, like, I've literally stopped opponents' plays. And I'm like, oh no, that was too early. And then ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, but you still had stuff you could do. It's wild to me. It's wild. But again, what's to say from a guy who's not hit Masters or topped in a YCS or done any of that stuff. Again, I'm exclusively a Master Duel player because at this rate, I'm never going to have enough cash to, like, actually play, and I don't know if there would even be any locals in my area. Because from what I remember, the only real local spot I had was an old spot that's long since been closed down. But just, I don't know, man, like, it makes me sad. I'm not asking for the old days of just top deck offs, or just draw the out, and again, of pure draw the out, not just draw the out forehead. But, like, something better than the Negate City, man. Something better than just, like, I'm gonna play the game and you're not gonna. I stated it before, and even on Reddit at one point, like, the fact that I have to sit through everything, and then the worst part is, like, I will sit through it sometimes, because, maybe I got out that last synchro I needed for my daily, or there was a mission I completed and I just wanted to get it done, and then my opponent sits there and just like, well, I'm not gonna end you, I'm just gonna BM you now. It's just like, really, dog? You already set up the freaking Super Negate City, and then I have to still sit here and let you victory lap around me? It's not fun. You're gonna get more people who are just gonna time limit stall just to get their quest done and then be gone. Anyway, that's enough complaining from me. I'm gonna kind of show off this deck. I really want to keep this in, so... but 51's such a dull number. You know what? I'm gonna take the risk. There. Okay. Anyway. I want to thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry I was so ranty and stuff, but if you like it or enjoy it, I appreciate it a lot. You know what to do. And until the next one, I just want to say, laters.